How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a great weekend. It was a little crazy around here the last couple of days, nothing major, but I spent most of Friday and part of Saturday dropping things. And this sort of culminated Saturday morning when I closed a cupboard in the kitchen and the door popped back open and a whole stack of these little glass bowls that we had on a shelf in there fell out, hit the counter, and shattered and just pitched broken glass all over the place. So I stopped what I was doing and I started to clean it up, and my wife heard the calamity and she came downstairs and pitched in, and we were able to get it taken care of. When these things happen one-off, it's not really a big deal, but when there's recurrent events, especially events that become more obvious and more extreme as they go on, it's usually a sign that somebody's trying to tell me something and I need to pay attention. So it seems to be one of the most difficult aspects of emotional and spiritual recovery work, at least as I've experienced it, is the fact that some days you just don't want to do it. You just don't want to be there and do the things you need to do. And for some part of me buried down deep, this was the case yesterday, which was kind of annoying because yesterday was our monthly gathering with our community. My wife and I live for that. We love having people here. We love being part of that community. We love the potlucks. We love everything that goes along with it. It's a great joy in our lives. But if I had to be honest, not only did part of me not want to be there, it didn't fucking want to be there. It was really intense. And in our gathering, before we started our ceremony, at the time for the check-in, I shared that, and it raised a few eyebrows. But the funny thing is, as the day went on, stories started to get shared, people started discussing things, praying for things. I started to hear variations on a theme. Not necessarily about yesterday, but just the difficulty of this work. Things that they had to go through, and how they didn't want to have to do that. But the benefits that they got out of it, the healing that came because of it. This work is not all sunshine and bunnies. And if it were easily accomplished, it would already be done. And so when these resistances come up, it's okay to admit that. In fact, it's necessary. Because acknowledging these things and not denying them and not trying to bury them, but facing them, can really help us in a number of ways. First of all, it can show us how deep our wounds really run. We can't heal these things unless we see them. And there's no bullshitting the way we feel. It's there. And so if we're brave enough, and if we're willing enough and committed, we get to look these things square in the eye. And we get to feel them. And we get to experience them as deeply as we possibly can, and that's how we come to understand them. The second thing that this resistance can do for us is it can show us how far we've come in our healing when we're able to get up, to show up, and to do the work in spite of it, as we did yesterday. And the third thing, and maybe the most important thing it can do for us, is it can really remind us that we're human. And that can lend an air of humility to our work, an acceptance, not only of our own limitations, but of the limitations of others. As we progress through our healing work, there are parts of us that are going to kick and scream at every attempt that's made to heal them. They see this work as a fight to the death. We know that you don't stop falling until you hit bottom. And when you hit bottom, something's going to shatter. But the only thing that shatters is the lie. That doesn't mean it's easy, but that's what breaks. And what gets up and walks away, the truth, is a little more healthy than what hit the bottom. And really living through that experience and coming to terms with it and allowing it to be what it is in all its glory, the light, the dark, the love, the hate, the anger, the joy, all of it. That's really the only way we're ever going to heal. That's really the only way we're going to come through these things and to find the gifts that they carry wrapped inside them. Until next time.